Hello everyone, my name is Sean Hendricks and I'm here for the next video in our series of speakers for AU and CAVE. I'm here with Wayne Robson, who's going to be talking a little bit about his class and a bit about what he's been up to these days. Hi Wayne, how you doing?
All right.
So Wayne, I know most people out in the digital world on the web think of you as the 3D sculpting mudbox guy. For the number of years you did all sorts of tutorials and sessions and tips and tricks and released all these sculpting videos. But what many people don't know is you're actually a pretty well-rounded artist. You do a lot of different things. So why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about the type of work you've been working on lately?
Yeah, you're right. It's everybody's seen in one pigeonhole or another. You know, when we get sculpting, although it's one tiny bit of what I do. Now, I've just came off the back of working 7 months as the 3D supervisor on the film Last Days on Mars. Now, I've been working in the industry for 20 years. And I think the only things I haven't worked on that I don't do are skinning, rigging, and keyframe animation. Everything else I've done at one time or another.
Well, now you're obviously getting very heavy into the digital double side of things, and obviously your class itself is on digital doubles. Can you tell us a little bit about what your take is on the digital double workflow?
Yeah, I've spent most of the last 2 years doing digital doubles, you know, one sort or another, right away from the London Olympics opening ceremony with Jesse Owens to the recent stuff, and I've got some more to do next week. And I've sort of accidentally fell into this whole digital double thing, and I thought there's got to be an easier way of doing it. And it turned out magically there is. Now, I've been doing a lot, and I realised that the old way of doing it was very time-consuming. It was prone to the slightest thing causing the asset not to look like it was supposed to, so it needed to change. So what we're going to do is cover a way that it's easy to replicate for anybody who takes the class, so that they know what's going to happen.
And of course, one of the things you worked on with this class is to make sure it was product agnostic, so that you didn't have to worry about which product. Now, how did you manage that? Is it you kind of taking it more from a theory point of view? What's the route here?
Well, to be honest, I always believe that any artist should have the theory up here sorted first, because if you know what you're doing and more importantly why, then you can transfer that between applications easily. You know, so I've always used, you know, all the big three anyway. You've got to, when you know, a lot of my stuff's freelance, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So you've got to have a good variety of applications. Now, it means that then I can transfer between one and the other fairly easily.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't really matter if it's Max or Maya or Softimage. It's just down to what I feel like using that day. Now, with some people, they like one particular application. So it comes in handy like that. You know, I'm able to explain things from another point of view.
Perfect. Now, is there any tips and tricks you can give us along the line of digital double, something to give people a taste of some of the information that will come out of this class?
Oh yeah, this one's a really obvious one. To me anyway, it's so obvious that people forget about it. Now you'll see a shot come in a lot of times at a firm, and the first thing they'll do is undistort the back plate and get it tracked. However, when they're doing the digital doubles, you'll get a big folder full of all these images, and nobody ever thinks to undistort the reference images, because you don't know a lot of the time whether it's been taken with a short or a long lens and how much distortion is there. So I've seen before people sculpting away on a model and wonder why it looks wrong, and it's got a really big nose and the head's too broad and the face looks too small. It's because they're sculpting to a distorted image. So you undistort the image and it gives you more reference and basically cover everything, every area that you're going to need.
Perfect. I know I've seen many digital double work, especially from students when they're first starting into, and almost always they end up like modeling their girlfriend or, you know, their own face or whatever. And there's often is that little bit off. It's like, yeah, I see where you're going, but it doesn't quite feel like that person. So I could definitely see where something like the simple idea of undistorting an image would probably have exactly that effect.
Exactly. It's important as well to keep an eye on how a person's face moves, because a lot of the time a digital double is not going to be sitting there static. So you're going to have blend shapes to do for it, and you must know how this person, how do they smile? How do they look sad? And an actor puts a lot of work into their facial expressions and does not want you making them look like a beginner.
Right.
So there's a whole other section there that you've also got to bear in mind.
Thanks a lot, Wayne, for coming out. I really appreciate you coming and doing this interview. For everyone that's out on the Ethernets there, please stick around over the next few days. We're going to have a couple more videos coming out of other speakers. And thanks again. Thanks, Wayne.
See ya.